Hey everybody, it's Ben, and I'm back once again with another video for you guys. Today I'll be reviewing Wonder Woman, Volume 1, Blood. The series is written by Brian Azzarello and illustrated by Cliff Chang and Tony Akins. And this first trade collects the first 6 issues of the series, which is published by DC Comics as part of their New 52. And we have Matthew Wilson on the colouring. So the story starts out with Apollo in Singapore as he is trying to find out what exactly the future holds for both himself and his family, as you can see there. For those of you who don't know, Apollo is one of the Greek gods in Greek mythology. And this series takes a really interesting approach, not only to the character of Wonder Woman, but also the series in general, because it has this really great Greek mythology aspect to it, and also Greek gods as well. We're then introduced to Hermes, the messenger of the gods, and we're also introduced to one of our main secondary characters, and that is the female character of Zola, as you can see there, who were then promptly attacked by centaurs, which are created pretty horrifically, I might say, as you can see there. I should point out that Cliff Chang does the artwork for issues 1 through 4, and then Tony Akins takes over for issues 5 and 6. Here we see Zola being transported then to London, where she meets Diana, aka Wonder Woman. And as you can see, there's a shot of Wonder Woman actually putting on her costume, as you can see there. Really fantastic artwork by Cliff Chang and Tony Akins in this, as well as the colouring by Matthew Wilson. They both illustrate Wonder Woman as being a woman who is drawn to look very beautiful, but at the same time she's not drawn, or none of the panels show anything, gratuitous or anything derogatory of a woman in the sense, in a comic book sense. As you can see, is Wonder Woman and Zola traveling back to Virginia, where Zola was just transported from, and you find out that the centaurs are still there, and a great action scene ensues, and a battle between Wonder Woman and the centaurs, as you can see there and there. Brian Azzarello really establishes the character of Wonder Woman as not only being an Amazonian princess, but also being a badass warrior, and at the same time a female superheroine, and she's also a woman in her own right as well, who stands up for the just and does the right thing, as you can see there and there. She's also written, like I said, she stands up for what's right, and she does the right thing, and she's also written as a very strong-willed and very independent woman who, like I said, always does the right thing. And then you find out right at the end of the first issue that Zola is pregnant with Zeus's child. So you have another of the Greek gods introduced. You also have the introduction of Hera, who is Zeus's wife in Greek mythology. Now, Brian Azzarello really captures the characterization of Hera absolutely perfectly, as well as that of her husband Zeus as well. Now, Hera in mythology, specifically in the myth of Hercules, is portrayed as this very angry, very hurt, very jealous, and very a very vengeful woman, despite being despite being a goddess, despite being the queen of the gods of Mount Olympus, she is still ultimately yet a woman, which Brian Azzarello, through his writing, and Cliff Chang through the artwork, and Matthew Wilson's colouring, really captures that sort of, like I said, very hurtful, very hurt goddess, queen, and spouse of Zeus, but at the same time really shows her human side in a scene which I'll get onto later. We then have Wonder Woman, Hermes, and Zola then travelling to Wonder Woman or Diana's ancestral home on Paradise Island, where we are then introduced to Queen Hippolyta, who is the Queen of the Amazons and Wonder Woman or Diana's mother, as you can see there. And over the course of the first the first few issues, you find out some of Wonder Woman's backstory, in that there was a legend that she was made from clay, because unfortunately Hippolyta wasn't able to bear any children, so she fashioned a baby out of clay and then prayed to the gods for a miracle, and they then granted her the child of Diana. There's a really great moment where we have the introduction of another of the Greek gods, and that is Strife, as you can see there. There's also a really great moment for Wonder Woman where she uses her lasso of truth on Strife, and you find out some really interesting and really cool and surprising story reveals about Wonder Woman, and also about her ancestry, as you can see there. As I said, fantastic artwork by Cliff Chang throughout, as well as Tony Akins, and colouring by Matt Wilson. You then find out that Hippolyta and Zeus, as I said, the god of lightning and the father of Olympus and the king of the gods, fell in love, and they had a bastard child, and that was Diana. That was Wonder Woman. And what Brian Azzarello does with the being made out of clay aspect of Wonder Woman's origin and Wonder Woman's backstory is that was actually a plan which was concocted by not only Hippolyta but also some of Wonder Woman's Amazonian sisters to protect Diana from the wrath of Hera, because Hippolyta even says if Hera had known you'd existed, if she'd known that you were Zeus's daughter, she would have murdered you in your crib, which again, going back to the myth of Hercules in traditional Greek mythology, when Hera found out that Zeus had Hercules with a mortal woman, she sent 2 snakes to his crib when he was still a baby in an attempt to kill him, but because Hercules had the strength of a god, he was able to strangle the snakes and eventually live, and then go through his life and his 12 labours, and then at the end he was then brought to Olympus by his father. There's also some really great scenes of Wonder Woman being incredibly angered, and justly so, of the revelation that she's just found out, that essentially half of her life is being lived as a lie, as she wasn't fashioned from clay, and that she's Zeus and Hippolyta's daughter. And there's some great scenes where, through her anger, she's able to access her godlike abilities and her superhuman strength. As you can see there, she's bashing down trees, making her way to the beach, where she then punches Aleka, I want to say it's Aleka, one of her Amazonian sisters, for slighting her, and then she again uses her abilities to ignite the funeral pyres of some of her fallen Amazonian sisters, as you can see there and there. And there's a great ending to this particular issue where Wonder Woman or Diana actually adopts the name of Wonder Woman, and there's a great one-page spread of her making her way off of Amazonia, Paradise Island, as you can see there. There's also another great scene where Brian Azzarello again really captures the dysfunctional family aspect of the Greek gods, especially with the conversation that takes place between both Apollo and Ares, the Greek god of war, as you can see there. I really like the designs that both Cliff Chang and Tony Akins give all of the gods of Olympus, and going back to the badass aspect of Wonder Woman's character, there's a great scene where Strife and Hermes are having a conversation, and Strife proposes that she deliver both Zola and her unborn child into Hera's keeping so she can exact her revenge. But then Diana takes a broken champagne glass and drives it into Strife's hand and says, "I'm going to protect this woman and her unborn child, and there's nothing you or your mother or any other of the Greek gods can do to stop me, and you've just shown me what family actually means in your family on Mount Olympus," as you can see there. Going back to the humanity side of Hera, there's a great scene where she is confronting Hippolyta about laying down with Zeus and creating the child of Wonder Woman or Diana, and she says, "I'm the goddess of women, I'm the queen of the gods, but ultimately yet a woman." And as you can see in one of the in the last panel of this page, you can really see the really hurt expression on Hera's face, and really showing her humanity side, despite being, like I said, an Olympian goddess. And she then takes her revenge on Hippolyta. And with issues 5 and 6, like I said, we get the introduction of Tony Akins on the artwork, and we also have the introduction of a new character of Lennox, who is a pretty mysterious character. We don't know a lot about him at this stage. From his accent, I'm guessing he's possibly from Scotland, and you find out exactly who he is and what he's been through in his life, and you find out that he's actually 80 years old, and he actually served in probably the Second World War, I want to say, as you can see there. We also have the introduction of some more of the Greek gods, particularly Poseidon, who is this giant, awesome looking fish monster, as you can see, as I'll show you this double page spread of Tony Akins artwork, as you can see there and there. Really fantastic artwork, as I said, as I've been saying repeatedly throughout this this video. We also have the introduction of Hades as well. Poseidon is the Greek god of the seas, and Hades is the god of the underworld. As you can see, Hades also has a really interesting and really cool look to him, as he has a part of his head is actually made up of lit and melting candles, which is a pretty interesting and pretty cool, unique look for the god of the underworld. And you then have a pretty clever and pretty elaborate plot, both from the perspective of the gods of Olympus, who are trying to make their own place for power, and you also have Wonder Woman also putting her own plan into motion as well. Brian Azzarello does an absolutely fantastic job of, as I said, telling an absolutely fantastic story, and also giving each of the characters their own unique voices and personalities. Just to give you a bit of backstory on this, I never read any Wonder Woman before until reading this first arc of Brian Azzarello's run, and I have to say this is probably going to be my personal definitive run of Wonder Woman. As I said, he really just does a fantastic job on the writing. He makes Wonder Woman into a badass warrior, as well as being a superheroine, and also a woman in her own right who stands up for the just and does the right thing, and also really nails the dysfunctional family aspect of the Greek gods of Olympus, and also captures the characteristics and the personalities of the gods of Olympus as they were told in Greek mythology. As I've said repeatedly, Cliff Chang's artwork, along with Tony Akins, is absolutely fantastic, as well as the colouring done by Matthew Wilson. If you're a fan of Brian Azzarello from his work on 100 Bullets, Joker, Before Watchmen, Rorschach, and I think he wrote the Comedian mini as well, I'm not too sure, then I highly recommend you check out Wonder Woman. If you're a fan of Wonder Woman, if you're a fan of Greek mythology, if you're a fan of reading superheroine stories, or fans of stories with female protagonists, then I highly recommend you check out Wonder Woman. If I had to give this first volume a rating, I'd give it an absolute 5 out of 5. I really enjoyed it, and I highly recommend it. And that about concludes this review video, guys. Thank you everybody for watching. Hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Didn't like it, thumbs it down. But as I always say for thumbs down the video, by all means please feel free to tell me why in the comments below, or send me a private message. And until next time, this is Scambit896 signing off, and I'll see you guys later. Take care.